Alright, B'siyata Dishmaya Chevre, here in Shari Chutzfad, and we're going to be continuing in the 18th gate of the Shari Baal Shem Tov, the gates of the Baal Shem Tov, and the secret of Aliyot and Yeridot, Gadlut and Katnut. Ascent, descents, ups and downs of life, right? The first source that we have here is from the Toldot Yaakov Yosef, Parashat Tazria. Od yesh lomar v'achayot ratzo v'shov. It says in Yechezkel that the angels that are called Hayot, Chiyut, vitality, right? Hayot were Ratzo Veshov. They were running and returning. Could never fully reach godliness and always coming back to their place. Running and returning, running and returning. Ki ta'anug tmidi na'aseh teva ve'eno ta'anug. Constant pleasure. Why is there running and returning? Constant pleasure becomes natural, becomes your nature, and then it's no longer pleasurable. Person does something, doesn't matter what it is, right? The classic example the world gives ice cream. Couldn't eat ice cream for 1 day, 2 days. A week and a half of eating ice cream every single day, you're going to start to get disgusted of ice cream. It's not going to feel good anymore. It's not going to do it anymore. Everybody knows this also with tolerance and drugs, alcohol, and so on and so forth. You're always going to need more because constant pleasure is not pleasure. Once it becomes habit, once it becomes that's your life, it's no longer pleasurable. Therefore, a person is always ascending and descending in Avodat Hashem. It's not constantly that you're getting more and more of a tzaddik. Every day you're more and more of a tzaddik. It is true, in the bigger picture, we're all only going up. But on that journey, there's ups and downs. There's ups and downs. Why? Why does life have to be ups and downs when we're serving God? So that we get little taste of pleasure, of delight. Every time we're successful and we go up, it feels great. It feels great. And the main thing Hashem wants is that we feel pleasure connecting to Him. So He has to push us down sometimes. Sometimes it's really not even that you sinned. From the heavens, they want you to go down right now. Why? To appreciate when you go back up. Here in this world, usually it's going to show up as a sin, a bad day, or whatever it is. But really, truthfully, at your core, you didn't do anything wrong. It was a heavenly calculation that right now we need you to fall in love with us more. So we're going to push you down a little bit. And then we'll pick you up. The same God that pushes you down is the one that picks you up. So we can't beat ourselves up, and we can't also get stuck too much in what's going on right now. There's a bigger picture. In the bigger picture, I'm going up. Everything's okay. Right now, they want me to serve Hashem from down, from a place of no friends, or moving around, or being alone, things not going well for you. Whatever it is, that's what they need you to work from right now. Next source, in Parashat Bo, in Tzafnat Paneach, one of the students of the Baal Shem Tov, Shemati Mimori, I heard from my Rebbe, Inyan HaChayot Ratzo Veshov, the same idea of the Hayot, the angels running and returning. Ki kol davar choshek u'mitlaev lachzor l'shosho lidabek sham. Everything in the world, every single creature, anything, inanimate object to a human being, everything has a desire to return back to its root. And everything physical has its root in spirituality. Everything physical. The rock is also a spiritual creation. It's just in this world it shows up as a rock. Inside of it, there's a soul. And that soul, that spark of godliness that creates the rock and lets it stay in existence, is desiring to go back to its source. Therefore, your soul is always trying to attach itself back up to its root. How is the best way for your soul to do it? What does your soul want to do? Torah and mitzvot and avodat Hashem. Your soul desires those things. Why? Because it's naturally, like everything else in the world, trying to connect back to its source. If you always had this passion, this drive to go back to your source, you would nullify yourself, complete bitul b'mitziut, nullify all of reality, like it was before the world of rectification, before the world of tikkun. When the world was still chaotic and everything was just, the Baal HaTanya explains it, what was tohu, what's the chaos of that world, of the world at that time, that everything wanted to go back to its source without knowing how to come back down. It's just like constant pure connection to Hashem, which is not good. Which is not good. It's not this world that God created right here. There's a reality up there, up above, where you're constantly connected. But even here, the Pasuk says the Hayot, the angels, were running and returning. So if the angels have to do it, even more so us. וזהו סוד קברות התאווה. This is the secret of the location in the desert that we traveled through called קברות התאווה. What's קברות התאווה? The burial of lusts. Right? It says in Sefer Brit Menucha, which is one of the old books that the Baal Shem Tov used to study, Brit Menucha. It's also the secret of Sodom Abul, the secret of the flood. שנפתחו ארובות השמיים. What is it? It says there that the storage, I don't even remember what they call them, well springs, storage places of the heavens opened up, right? The flood with Noach. The Zohar says, what's Arubot HaShamayim? What are huge clouds that let out a lot of water? We're talking spirituality, what's Arubot HaShamayim? All the wisdom of godliness, all of the lights of Hashem opened up in the world. That was the flood. Flooded with God consciousness, flooded with the truth to the point that it destroyed the whole entire world. I'm not saying now there wasn't a physical flood. But even if there was a physical flood, that's just an itgashmut, right? Geshem in Hebrew is rain, which means materialism. It's an itgashmut. When a dream comes to reality, we call it itgashmut chalom, right? That the chalom itgashem, it became materialized. So too, rain is just materialization of blessing, of shefa coming down. At that point where you have a flood, that the whole entire world is flooded with God consciousness, meanwhile the whole entire world is acting like animals, and Hamas, so that's a destruction of the world. It won't be able to contain it. לכך תיקן השם יתברך שיעסוק לפעמים זמן מה בצרכי הגוף, אכילה, שתייה, ומעט להתעסק בצרכי פרנסתו. Therefore Hashem created a world that throughout our day we have to eat, we have to drink, we have to take care of those things in our body afterwards, we have to sleep a little bit, we have to do business. Why is the world like that? So that we're not constantly connected to God consciously. גם שיש לו מידת הסתפקות על ידי ביטולו מעבודת השם בזמנים אלו ינוח הנשמה. Right? So too, when you feel good, right? Let's say you want to learn Torah every day for an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. So when you finish that hour and you go into the world to do whatever you need to do, your soul's able to rest. It's like, okay, I got what I needed. You fed me this morning. Now you go do whatever the body needs to do. But the soul is able to be quiet because it already got its food, it already got its sustenance. And your spiritual intellectual power will now get a renewal that it's needed in order to come back with fire afterwards when you step back in for mincha, or for your afternoon learning, whatever it is. And that's what it means, hayot ratzov v'shov. That the animals, these angels, that are called animals, these angels that represent essentially our vitality, chayut, our energy, our livelihood. They were ratzo, they would run and return, and shov. One more here. It's written in Tehillim, in 84, Pei Dalet Yud Bet, in the 12th verse. Ki shemesh umagen Hashem Elohim. What does that mean? The sun. Ki shemesh umagen Hashem Elohim. The sun and the shield, Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei Elohim. Meaning, Avaya Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name of Hashem, is called Shemesh, the sun. Shemesh umagen, it means that there's a mechitza, there's a separation, and a magen, a shield, a force of protection. Ba'ad or shemesh, in front of the light of the shemesh, of the sun. Right? You can't look directly at the sun. So too, you can't have full Yud Kei Vav Kei consciousness in this world. Yud Kei Vav Kei Havaya is that everything was, is, and will be. This week's parasha, Shmot, we start. Hashem tells Moshe, I had many names. Not all of them were made known. Moshe Rabbeinu was the first to get Yud Kei Vav Kei, to really, really get into a level of Haya Oviviyeh. It's whatever was, is, and will be, that's all Hashem. There's nothing else besides Hashem. That light is called Shemesh, the light of the sun, so to say. Hu הדמיון כמו השם אלוהים. רצה לומר, כמו שאי אפשר להסתכל בשמש מגודל אור הבהירות שלו, אם לא על ידי מגן ומסך ומבדיל, like you can't look at the sun without glasses, a welding mask, or whatever it is to protect your eyes. You can't stare at the sun. You need something in between you. You need something to separate it, which is the magen be'ad or hashemesh yuchlu achalushei ha'ra'ud le'enot me'oro. What's the whole point of having that mask? The people that have bad eyesight will be able to enjoy from the light of the sun, right? Your eyes are very sensitive. You can't go outside without glasses. What's the point of the glasses? To allow you to enjoy the sun of the luminance of the sun outside. So too, Yud Kei Vav Kei, that light is immense, way more than what you can imagine the sun to be. מגודל עול בהירותו, לכך הוא צריך לצמצמו ולהגבילו בתוך שם אלוהים. That light is so powerful, meaning the reality that a human being or any creature will know there is nothing besides God. אין עוד מלבדו. That is so powerful that it needs to be constricted and reduced and limited inside the name Elohim, which is Gematria HaTeva, nature, the nature, right? The nature meaning everything we see here in nature is all from God, right? But that, why nature specifically? To show you that there is what's called nature, and it covers up the divine reality that everything is just Yud Kei Vav Kei. And that allows you to have a relationship with Hashem. The Chachamim say in Masechet Nedarim, in the future, Hashem is going to take the sun out of its sheath. It's going to unsheath the sun. Right? There's this, so to say, this purse, this bag, covering up the intensity of the sun. And when the time of Geula comes, the sun is going to be removed from that. When did this happen in the past? Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu, on the third day of his Brit Milah, Hashem took the sun out to force Avram to sit at home and to make sure no one was walking around. And it wasn't enough. Avram complained internally, and Hashem, I want guests. Hashem still made guests come. Right? But why did Hashem take the sun out? Because he knows Avram is so about guests and loves Kiruv so much that if people are walking around, he's going to be up. I need him to relax. I need him to heal. He's just at a Brit Milah, 100 years old. Avram forced it, and in the end, 3 angels came. Right? But only angels could be able to tolerate the sun being outside of its sheath. So it's the same thing here too. Shushem Elohim Gimtaria Hateva. What is the sheath? Elohim. What does that name represent? Nature. In the future, God will take the sun, Yud Kei Vav Kei, out of the sheath, out of the nature, Elohim. Meaning, out of everything you go here in the world and you experience, it's going to be clear to you that it's Yud Kei Vav Kei, that it's Hashem, that it's a complete mercy. Right now, that's covered up. And the tzaddikim, mitrapim ba shukayim bahem. The tzaddikim get healing by way of this. V'hayu enecha rotet morecha. Your eyes should see your teachers, like it says in Isaiah and in Yeshayahu. ויהי ההנהגה עמהם למעלה מהטבע ויוכלו לקבל בהירותו רחמיו הגדולים. The way that people that last to that time, where the sun is revealed, so to say, Yud Kei Vav Kei is revealed throughout Elokim, at that point, all the way that we're dealt with from the heavens is going to be above nature, right? And we'll be able to get the clarity, the mercy of Hashem with immense clarity. Like Reb Nachman says that we have to pray to Hashem that we have the mercy revealed to us according to how we understand mercy. Because Hashem is infinite mercy, but the Holocaust was also mercy. But we don't understand that as mercy. We see that as the opposite of mercy. So Reb Nachman told us we have to pray to Hashem, reveal the mercy in a way that I can understand the mercy. So too now Elohim, the fact that there's a war, the fact that there's a crazy world, all this craziness going on, it is the ultimate mercy. We just don't see it. It's still the sun wrapped up in nature. Yud Kei Vav Kei wrapped up in Elohim. We want to get to a time where we don't need the constriction, we don't need the cover up, we get full rachamim from the source. That's above nature. Aval lo chen hareshaim. The wicked people at that time, that won't be the case. Ele mitlahatin k'mo she'amar Navi. They're going to get passionate to a negative side, like the prophet says, Hashem kegibur yotzeh. Hashem, like a hero, like a mighty one will come out, meaning, even though it's Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is Rachamim, it's mercy, im kozeh k'sheyotzi shem havaya min artika yilbosh nakam kagibor. when the tzaddikim get to this point and the sun is removed and everything's going to be clear as all godliness, great. It's healing. That's the sun that heals. When this happens for the Rishaim, so it's everything's Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, but watch Yud-Kei Vav-Kei show up as Adonai Ish Milchama. God is a man of vengeance, man of war, power of war, of vengeance. It's an energy that's going to show up and show you that it was godly the whole entire time, and that's not going to be so nice. That's going to be super, super, super intense. The mercy, right, Rachamim, Tiferet, is made up of Chesed and Gvura. It leans to the right, but it has inside there all the Gvura needed. For the Reshaim, once the sun is revealed, the side of the Din within the Rachamim is going to be revealed. The judgments within the mercy is going to be revealed to them. Hashem hika kol bechor. Hashem, like it says in Parashat Shmot, not Shmot, it's probably later in Parashat Bo, in the Bechorim, right? The firstborns of Egypt. Who hit them? Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. The mercy of Hashem is what destroyed and annihilated all of the firstborns of Egypt. Ayomer Hashem imche. Right? And who did the flood? What was the name that evoked the flood? Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. So there is a side within mercy that is execution of judgment. And that's the biggest mercy. But we don't want to see it that way. We want for the love to be so powerful that it covers up even that. And even if there has to be a revelation of judgment, it comes out as infinite mercy and I see it with immense clarity. It's not going to be the case. So we have two people going down the same exact path. One day the sun's going to be taken out of its sheath, and those two people are going to experience it completely differently. For one, it's going to be healing. Wow! This intense sun is healing me. It's cleaning up any last bad that I had inside of me, and I'm just going to be healed and pure after this. And for the other one who's majority bad, that sun, that same powerful sun that can burn away all the bad, is going to burn away all the bad. But there's so much bad there that it's going to be judgment, so to say, and the end for that person. It won't be able to last. And this is also, like we learned all the time, connecting to tzaddikim. Why is it so important to connect to tzaddikim? Because they have the light of the Shekhinah on them. The light of the Shekhinah burns away all the bad from you. You can't connect to Hashem straight up. You can't. You could do it, but it's not going to last. If that bad gets removed, we always say 20% of your bad gets removed, and that 20% is your heart, is your brain, you're done for. When you go through the tzaddikim, they're like a buffer. They're like Elohim, right? Even the judges in the Torah are called Elohim. Judges in the Torah are called Elohim. Powerful people that are able to bring down the judgments of God. When we do that, so then that's a, so to say, a tzimtzum, a constriction of that powerful light. And slowly but surely we're able to receive it. Be'ezat Hashem Yitbarach.